That works just about as best as anything else I can see that I can see. All right. Let's see what we got here. All right. It looks like we should be live. It looks like we are. All right. Let's do this because that's not under a new spot now, too. And there it is. I found it. the, the voice from above. Recording in progress. All right. That's it. Oh, wait a minute. Today's Wednesday, so it must be Whiskey Wednesday. Uh, and we have one of our favorite regulars, Brian Scapano's here. Uh, it's one of those type of things that Impacts does so many different things
Yeah.
that we can do multiple Whiskey Wednesdays, Brian.
Yeah. Yeah. Let's see, the last time I was here, I think we did three different brands that we did. And so we
Yeah.
narrowed it down to two. But that was probably 9 months ago. Since then, I have been to all these distilleries now.
Yeah, well,
So,
that's even better.
so that's
It's a
big,
bonus.
big bonus, big perk of being with Impact. So, got to really experience the distilleries and everything. So, which is great. And we got two of our best and brightest. Kilchoman is our in some ways our kind of our oldest single malt Scotch distillery that we cover, and then Isle of Raasay is kind of one of these younger new age ones as well. So it's yeah, we got a great PD lineup here. So
We're
yeah,
we're still working on a couple more for Brian to come back and,
yeah,
and do. So stay tuned because hopefully everything is going to go right on that. We'll have some other stuff for you guys to try.
yeah,
So, okay, without further ado, first of all, I don't know if a lot of people, what is Impex?
yeah, great, yeah, yeah. So
I should have started there.
yeah,
Sorry.
I should have, no, but here we are.
It's been a long day.
So Impex, yeah, we are an importer. So we're a small importer. We specialize with mostly single malt Scotch, but we have some world whiskeys as well, some independent bottlers, some gins, and a rum. But single malt Scotch is really our thing, and so that's what we have today. So we are working with smaller distilleries, family owned, a lot of them, or just not owned by the big guys. So we're the importer
Right.
that brings them in, and with these brands, we don't have the budgets of Super Bowl ads and anything like that. So coming here, doing these type of tastings, going out in the trade and tasting people on them is the best way to get these
Liquid
brands
to
out.
lips, as I
Liquid to
like that.
lips,
Liquid to lips. That's
absolutely.
the best way to sell
Yep.
anything because you can't hide behind a label.
Yep, yep,
Right.
100%. So, and really with everything that we have too, I'll get this one out so I don't have to say it again. Non-chill filtered, no color added is a big part of all this. So we're talking real deal stuff
That's
here.
almost a prerequisite to being
Yeah,
part of your portfolio.
yeah, 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 pretty much. So, and it's not to say that there's some not great chill filtered or stuff with color added,
Right.
but
No.
it's something that with the scale of what these guys do too, it's they want to make it as good as they can at their scale and size, and
Yeah,
yeah,
sometimes that's counterproductive
yeah,
to do it to
absolutely,
do that type of stuff
yeah,
too.
yeah,
And again, there's plenty of great chill filtered whiskeys
yeah,
out there,
oh yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
100%,
uh, but they usually have gotten there over time
right, right,
and it's sort of worked into the DNA of how things are done. That's
yeah.
harder to do on a small scale.
Yeah, yeah, and in a lot of these things too, they're looking for the best quality. How can we make the best whiskey? And consistency isn't important, but I think quality and and having something great and something new and maybe different is above that as well.
Well, that's where we really should start with
Yeah,
Kilchoman, which we're going to do tonight.
yeah.
Is what I like to. It's a farm distillery.
Yes, yes. So they were a farm distillery. So they started out doing only their own barley. And actually, it's a good way to kind of trick you guys. And if you can tell by looking at your tasting mats here, the number 8 is actually going to it's a little
We
different.
start off with that.
Yeah, we'll
Let's go
start out
right
with
to
that.
8. I'm sorry.
And
Don't drink anything else.
yeah, and if it's if you can't tell by now, it is new make. So if you don't want to drink it, but it's worth getting a real nose and maybe a little sip. It's depends on what your take on new make is. But it's
So this would technically be whiskey anyways.
right.
It's right off basically the still.
Mhm.
So what you're trying is the cut that they're taking to make the whiskey.
Yes,
So
and
this is not this is the heart of the cut.
hasn't touched the barrel, so
Hasn't been in the barrel
no
yet.
color.
So technically not whiskey yet.
Yep. And so yeah, little treat that you don't always get at a tasting. So I had to bring it to you good people tonight. And this is actually the distillate from their
Farm
farm
grain.
distillate. So they do a couple of runs a year of just the barley that they grow
They
there.
grow.
And that one is actually a little less peated. So this is only 20 ppm, where the other ones we're going to be tasting are 50.
They do
Thereabouts.
they do they malt it in house too.
Yeah.
The
So
farm one is malted in
yep.
house.
So traditional floor malting. If I got some pictures on my phone of me there, pulling a big rake. So
To get a shoulder.
yeah, yeah, it was a tough day. So yeah, it was a great experience there. But yeah, traditional floor malting. The peat is from like a mile down the road. All the peat is right there on Isla. And they were the Isla's first farm distillery. So they're the first ones to grow all their barley and use their barley. However, growing peat on Isla is a lot easier than growing barley. So they kind of outgrew that exclusively farm distillery model. So they started bringing in barley elsewhere. But
Yeah,
they still do.
those of you who don't know, Isla's also sort of wind swept.
Yes.
So it's really hard to grow barley on the Isle of Isla.
Yeah,
So
exactly. And the
you know,
barley that they do grow, which was interesting, see
it
it.
doesn't have a high yield.
Yeah, not a high yield, and it's also quite smaller. The grains are
Mhm.
smaller. They probably wouldn't pass a lot of the tests that some of the big malters go through. But that's what makes their stuff unique. And it's something that is that they take a lot of pride in, and it's a little different, and it's yeah, something.
What did you guys when you smelt that and taste that? What sort of what reaction? Any flavor components you pop out at you? Like sugar?
Yeah,
Yeah. What else was out? Molasses. Yeah. Raisin. I get like raisin.
yeah,
Like when you open a box of like sun-made raisins, that initial smell there, I get some of that to it too.
yeah.
Like
Okay.
Raisin Bran. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's yeah, it was one of those when I first tried this, it kind of opened another door for the rest of the expressions. After trying the new make and then trying this, it was, I was like, okay, I'm tasting things a little
Well,
different.
now you can sort of see what, because some of these, they do different levels of malting in with the peating, I should say. And you get that, but it's very distillate driven
Yep.
single malt.
Yeah. Yeah,
So a
absolutely.
lot of the stuff we do get some. We're going to get some barrel influence. I get that, but you should still the DNA should still be what you just sort of tasted just now, right? That's what you're trying to go for. I mean, this one's a little bit different because it is the farm one,
Yep.
but
Yep. But it's still and then this is it's bottled at 63.5%. So that's what it's coming out of. So yeah, fairly high. Um, but yeah, and we'll make our way into some cast strength
all
as
right.
well. So
Well,
yeah.
yeah. So let's start.
Yeah.
McCare Bay, which is
Yeah.
like
Yep.
this is the flagship.
This is their flagship. Yep. Yep. So this is their baby.
This
So
is
Matt
number. We're going
Carey.
to
Yep.
jump all the way back to
Yep.
number
So we're
one.
going on the other side of the board. So
So you're in a ping pong tournament today.
yeah. So
One side to the other.
yeah. So yeah, this is their core range. This is their top one. So Mackay Bay is named after the Mackay Bay Beach, which is right there on Isla. Which is there's parts of the property where you can really stand in the fields. You can see the cows they have grazing. You can see the distillery, and then you can see the breakers on the ocean there. They're right there. So you're not only are they naming it as a tribute, but you're also getting that kind of like sea swept air kind of going through everything. That peat and that barley and everything is really of Isla is something that we get from it a lot. So the cask makeup on this one is it's about 80% bourbon cask and 20% sherry cask.
This is 46% ABV, so it's get that 92 proof. You're at that magic number. No chill filtration, all natural color. I do like this. For those of you who don't know, I've never really looked at. I'm a kid that reads the cereal box. You know what I'm talking about. You sit there and you don't watch TV, but you read everything on the cereal box. Um, they have like this little sliding scale on this too. That gives you a good notion. This one's bourbon and sherry, so it'll actually tell you the primary makeup of the whiskey is actually bourbon. You probably what'd you say about 80?
Yeah, about 80/20.
About 80, yeah, it's about 80%.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, it's 80.
Yeah.
But that they'll give you so when you pick up any of them, it'll give you a scale to just sort of see where the flavor profile is going to sort of sit in
Yep.
it too, which is I think is a really nice idea.
Yep. Yep.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. So the flagship. So with that scale, kind of going to the next one, Saneg, which is their really kind of their number two one. The scale goes the other direction. Um, yeah, you can see here too. It's essentially the inverse. It's
Right.
about 80% sherry cask and about 20% bourbon cask. So you can see by probably even especially these bottles
I
up
think
here.
it's right stays the 46.
46
Yeah,
as well.
46. Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
It's influence. It's so it doesn't go all the time in the sherry cast is what he's asking.
Oh,
Doesn't it start in bourbon then move to sherry or
okay, great. So it's not a secondary maturation, so it's full maturation in bourbon and full maturation in
and
sherry.
sherry?
Yep, yep. So um yes, but yeah, thank you for that question. Yeah. So yeah, full
It,
sherry mat and full bourbon and then but
I hate
vatted
to
together.
tell you, on a smaller scale, that's easier. It's easier for them to control everything better than moving it off to other casts.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? So when they're blending it, they're going to the sherry, they're going to the bourbon rather than go, okay, let's move so much of this over to bourbon, over to sherry, and then we got to let it go for so long.
Yep. Yep. Um
And what's the average age of
yeah.
this, anyways?
Yeah, so oh yeah, and that was one of the other things is we have no age statements up on well, aside from this one, we'll get to that one later, but no age statement on the core range, which was I wasn't quite in the industry when they kind of broke on, but that was one of those things of like a non-age stated whiskey or like a very how are you going to sell this super young whiskey? It's like, well, do what we're doing and try it. So
Yeah.
um and but right away, right when they released their 3-year-old stuff, people were like, "Wow, okay, they're actually doing something." Oh, maybe you don't need 15 years, 18 years
Well,
for.
you're not getting graininess with it.
Mhm.
It's getting enough. It's getting enough thing. First of all, you're using 100% malted barley,
Yep.
which is different than talking about bourbons and ryes. Um, so it's a different makeup to what's actually making up the whiskey. So you're getting that part of it. You're also getting now the sherry component of it,
Yep.
and older whiskey is. I hate to say this, but older whiskey still, even right now, is still a newer concept
Yeah.
of drinking. Maybe not 3 and 4 years old, but like
Mhm.
5, 6, 7, and 8.
Yep.
That's where whiskey really sort of sat
Yeah. Yeah.
for most people
Yeah.
until they had too much whiskey
Right.
and it sat longer. And then we started talking about 10, 12,
Yeah.
15, 18 years.
Mhm.
So you can get a lot. I mean, you tried the new make. I mean, it's sort of nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's nice now. It's
Mhm.
nice right off the still.
Yeah.
So now you're just adding some wood characteristics to it, some bourbon.
Mhm.
You're adding some sherry. You're adding these other flavors going on, and it's okay. And
Yeah.
you start working with different uh, finishes. Well, not finishes, but maturations,
Mhm.
and you're working that, and now it's part of the blend.
Yep.
Now
Yep.
you're working on the blend part.
Yeah.
So, does anybody think this drinks really young? I don't. I think it drinks
Yeah.
really nice,
Yeah.
and that's the whole point. And
Yeah.
that's liquid to lips. I mean, that's
Mhm.
where you get that.
Yeah. And the kind of more direct answer for it. Age is probably these days the stuff we're getting, it's probably around 8 years or so.
Yeah.
So it is really in that sweet spot.
Right.
You know,
That's what we
'cause-
talk about is like,
yeah.
that's really where you were. They
Yep.
started off young, but you're really in now that sort of like where a lot of whiskey was for a lot of the
Yeah.
history of whiskey
hmm
is where it's sitting now.
Yeah. Yeah. I heard someone talk about with age statements, the tyranny of 12, that if you
Right.
don't have something up to
Well,
12,
you,
then
you
people
forget
are,
about it.
"Oh," but it's like, no, no, but like it's ready at 8,
Yeah.
it's ready. It's right now. It's ready. It's
Age just a number. I
exactly.
just
Yep.
turned 60, so I'm going to say
Hey,
that.
there we go. Yeah.
Thank you.
Manja. Yeah. So yeah, it's the age when you have a really good distillate and you're very particular with barrels and everything.
Your
You
cut, your
can,
hard cut is good.
yep,
You're starting with good products.
yep, long
You're starting with
fermentation.
good, good ingredients, and you're moving along. It's going to work out. Don't
Yep,
worry about it.
yep, yep,
You're really watching how your still is.
yeah,
You're watching where that cut is,
right.
and you're putting it in good quality barrels.
hmm
You're going to be all right. You'll be
Yeah,
all right.
yeah, absolutely.
Everything will be okay.
Yep.
And they do everything right. They're
Yeah.
very particular about how they do things
hmm
at Kilchoman.
And everything's on site. Everything's matured on site.
What do you guys
Yeah.
think about this one? This is my curious point. Now, do you like it with more bourbon finish or more sherry finish? Sherry finish. Who's bourbon finish? Sherry finish.
Common.
All right. It gets to me. I like it too because with the peatiness too, it gets in that realm of I like to call barbecue sauce. It's smoky. It's smoky. Get a little bit of sweetness, and with this one too, I always find with this one too, I always get a little bit of like salinic.
Yeah.
It mimics a little bit of like saltiness to it too. Like there's that little like like almost like bacon salt. It's not real salt. There's other flavors going on, but you still get that thing of like the
Definitely.
ocean.
Yeah. Yeah.
There's no salt in this, by the way.
Right.
Everybody wants to talk about like, oh, we're by the ocean, this and that. There's there they've done. There's no salt in there. That doesn't mean that you can't taste salt because other components will make up things that make you think you're tasting salt. That's okay. But I get a little bit of that salinic in there. And it does, hey, listen, in my head, I'm thinking, I've been to Isla. I'm like, man, it's like, windswept. I'm getting like, I'm wearing a slicker because it's raining or I'm getting water off the ocean,
Yep. Right.
so.
Right. Yeah. Put you in that state of mind for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah.
It's no MSG either. All right. What's the next one we got?
Yeah.
Oh, question. Yes. Sinag, when did
Yes.
the name
So,
Sinag come from?
Macquarie Bay it's all fairly geographical. So there is a Lake Sinag that is right around there, or a lock, I should say. They have another one that they do annually. Loch Gorm is
Loch Gorm.
named after another lake around there.
There's a little bed
what
and
else
breakfast
is it?
called Loch Gorm, but I've stayed there.
Oh,
So,
okay.
yes.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, some of it, it's like, oh, that's a nice name. It's like, yeah, it was on the sign. It's right there.
It was on
You
the
know,
sign,
so
yeah.
it's, make it nice and easy. So,
When you're driving James drives in the morning, goes, I got an idea for the next
yeah,
next one. We gotta name.
yeah.
Is it your street, James? Yes, it is. It is.
Made from 100% Isla barley. We're going to call it 100% Isla
The barley. Yeah, when no mixing around.
Yeah.
That's really good. I like that the two sort of flagships are just those juxtapositions,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And so you like the bourbon finish, you can get it. You like the more of the sherry finish, you can get it. So all the time.
Yep.
And there are different iterations of this, but this, and we're gonna try. I think
Yep,
we're trying one. We're trying one
a
tonight.
little later.
So
Yep.
all right.
Yep.
Well, let me not stop you. The next place is this little. It's a little cove in Isla called Batch Strength. Small little cove. Batch Strength.
Yep.
Batch Strength. It's spelled with no
Yeah.
B and no T and no C in it.
Yeah.
Because that's the way Gaelic works.
Yeah. 3 H's.
3 H's though. Yeah. Little cove, batch strength.
Yeah.
All right. Well, this is it. So
Yeah.
this is batch strength of what though? See, that's the better question.
Yeah, so it's right, and it's essentially cast strength. However, they this is their really their third core release. So this is another year-round release. It's been out for under
Move your
two
mic up
years.
just a little bit.
Oh, yep. It's only a little over a year old that they've had in the lineup. So they want to do something that was at that cast strength. But they also wanted to have enough of it. So they stretched out a little, added a little bit of water, brought it down from about 58 and change just down to 57, where they really liked it. And thus didn't call it exactly cast strength, but said batch strength. So it's a large batch. It's a vatting of, so it's a little bit of both. So it's bourbon, it's sherry, and then there's some STR casks in there as well.
Yeah.
So it's about, I'm gonna, it's somewhat even. I want to say about 30%.
30.
Yeah, it's kind of in that ballpark. Maybe a little more on the STR and bourbon than sherry, but it's all in there. Um, but yeah, bottle at 57%. This one just came out, but yeah, a little over a year ago. This was the one that I think kind of with having the new make and then having this kind of unlocked a little bit of kind of a beyond the peat revelation for me with Kilchoman. This one I get way more like butterscotch. Get some like sweet
The
notes,
finish is
even
really
some like
long on this.
yeah, some like melon notes in there too. Yeah,
And this is the other thing I want to tell you that so when they mixed all the cast together, basically whatever that ended up being for the strength is what they went with, right? But it's one of those type of things that I'm gonna add. You guys all have water, right? You guys all have water, right? Just add like a if you have some left. I know I do this too late all the time, but if you have some left, just put like one drop in there because I don't know if when you taste things you can tell that there's other flavors going on and you just sort of like maybe almost like a little bit out of your reach. If you add a little water, it's going to take a little bit of the alcohol away, but it's also going to reveal a bunch of different flavors that you may not have noticed the first time around. Because the finish on this is rather really interesting in that it almost goes instead of heated, it almost goes cool. Like almost like I don't want to say mint because it's not really mint, but it sort of has a refreshing sort of flavor to it. And try that with just a couple drops. So everybody's got some Icelandic glacial water, the official water of Go Whiskey Week, Go Whiskey Month. I know it seems like it's getting to be a month, and it's the Liquor Talking Podcast. What do you guys think of that?
yeah.
That good? That's good. I get way at the end of this one, you almost get a little bit of that saline.
Yeah.
But that's like it's almost like finished, and the last thing you get is saline.
Yeah. I get that a lot with sherry cast too. I think sherry cast kind of will like sort of leave that
The STR though does
sweetness
make
in there.
a nice
Yeah.
depth.
Yep.
It gives it a little bit more depth, I think,
Yeah.
in this one.
And then STR,
And red berries.
generally, I think a lot of people probably know STR, but shaved toasted recharred casks. So typically red wine casks that are well, shave out what was in
It's
there.
exactly what it says.
Yeah, I hate saying that and then re-saying it
Yeah.
again, and then you toast it and then you rechar it. But it's really that. But yeah, brings out some of those caramelized notes in it without being overly tanniny from a red wine. So.
Yep. I like this one a lot. This is good. Yeah. I haven't had this one yet. The next one
The
that
next
we're
one,
going
great.
to I have not had it yet.
Yeah, this is new as well, or I think they had something maybe a couple of years ago in a smaller release, and then they had a Mackir Bay cast strength, but this is the Sane cast strength. So this is, well, just like STR, it is kind of like this is Sane at cast strength. So this is your number two, but bottled at this is 57.8%. So it is the
How many casts make this up?
of this batch. You know what? I'm not sure on that one.
They're not big. Okay, so
Yeah,
for everybody who knows, like we say batch, we say small batch, we say, that there's no definition to small batch. So, a small batch only, there isn't even a rule that says it has to be smaller than your regular batch. Because what's your regular batch? I mean, if you're a small place, what's your regular batch? So there's really no definition behind it. But when you're getting to like some small distilleries, they're not going to do, 500, 500 casks that were mixed together.
Right.
It's just not.
Yep.
They're going to be by definition and uh, the physical reality of it. It can't be big batches.
Right. Right. Yeah, I'll have to follow up on exactly the or in and around the size of that, but
Wow.
um, we got a few hundred cases into the states, so that was
This is really good.
yeah, yeah.
This
We
is
get more of that
really good.
sherry in there, and
Yeah, but you get that sherry, you
mhm,
get like oh, man, it's like on the it's red currant, but it's almost black currant.
yeah.
It's like right mid palate, and it sort of ends up on the front of your tongue, towards the front of your tongue too. Really good. This is really nice. The
Yep,
same
yep.
makeup,
So yeah, about 80 20
right?
sherry to bourbon cask. Yeah, yeah.
But just on that cast strength.
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yeah. And
What was the ABV on this one?
57.8.
Okay.
Yep. So, before we exit out of Kilchoman too, I should say too, just because I saw some news that there is another Isla distillery that is, I think, officially opened or opening. Oh, I'm blanking on the name, but Ardnaho, yeah, Ardnaho's out there, but there's another one that just popped up as well. But Kilchoman was open 20 years ago. They just had a big 20-year celebration over the summer. They were the first to open on Isla in over 120 years. So 2005 they opened, and they've been the new kid on the block until Ardnaho, I guess like a year ago or something opened, and then we've got another one, and then there's another
There's
one
no one
planned.
slated. Yeah.
Yep. So they were, so Isla was, a little bit dormant with, and then you had Bruichladdich, coming back and
Right.
kind of reviving, but which is part of this kind of renaissance that happened on Isla. But they were really kind of they started a trend, I suppose, and. If you ask Anthony and James Wills when they started, they did not think that they would be around for 20 years. They didn't quite know what was going
To
to be,
expect. Yeah.
yeah, what was going to happen. And same with their investors and everything. Everyone, but it's they've been here 20 years and really kind of made their mark. And you got more things coming to Isla, which is great. So
It's good. It means everything's going in the right direction, doesn't
yeah,
it?
yeah,
What did everybody think of the cast strength snake? That good. That's really good. I like that a
mm,
lot. That's like okay.
excellent.
So the next one we have is really not what we have.
Yep, little bit of a lie, but we didn't want to leave a blank thing. So this is the last bottle in the store for what is advertised as the Impex Kilchoman Impex Cask Evolution 1/2024. So this is what we have here for sale is a 15-year-old sherry cask. It was about 12 years in a sherry cask, and then Oloroso hogshead, and then re-rack for another 3 years in a yeah, sherry butt, and then re-racked in a hogshead for
Like
another
I said,
three
right.
years.
What you have in front of you is neither of that.
Yep, yep.
However, it's still whiskey,
It's
and
still
it's
whiskey,
still whiskey, and it's actually
and it's
just a
still
different
from
year, right?
Kilchoman. Yeah, it's a little different. So this is the USA small batch. So this one only came to America. There were about
We had some left. We
2,500
figured you'd
bottles.
want to try it because you're not going to be able to try it again.
Yeah,
So we
so
didn't have that one, so
it's gone.
we put this one in there.
Yeah, so if
Anybody want to complain? Anybody want to give the whiskey back? No, no, no. Okay, right. It's the
It,
U.S.
yeah, it's the
tour
U.S.
bottling.
Yeah, um, United States small batch. So if I
If you
saw
like this one, you can't get it. And if you want the other one, there's only one bottle left.
so arm wrestling and or drawing straws or
This
something. So
steel cage death match after this is over.
if I
Oh
saw a
my,
good amount of you at Go Whiskey when we were over here, we were pouring this. So
yeah.
that was your taste and your chance. So
It's you bought it all, and you
We're
drank us
we're
out of our
down.
sample, and then you bought the rest except for one bottle. So This is good too. I had this one when I had this what it was a year
Yeah.
ago, a couple of years ago.
So this vatting is 20% port cask, 75% bourbon cask, and 5% sherry. So 5% sherry, that's kind of almost like we had Nick Dean here a couple weeks ago, and that's what they say they're small amount of sherry just for a
Mm.
little bit of seasoning. So where it kind of takes the front seat with say and egg, it's just like a little bit there in that one. So
This was a good one. A lot. This we actually sold quite a few of these.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So we didn't want to like let you run off and go like, oh, they shorted us on whiskey again.
Yeah, yeah. So
So you still got 8.
yeah, yeah.
All right. So now we're gonna move to a different distillery.
Different distillery, different island, and still in Scotland, and still in single malts, and still in peat. So, however, we're gonna a lot of times we're gonna be all peated out. So we're gonna be our palates will be sort of
Good and
where they
beaten.
are. Yeah,
Beat your palate.
yeah, exactly. So, um, we're gonna go slightly north to the Isle of Raasay. So, actually, they put a little map here. Well, basically, Isla's
Can you
down
see that in the back?
there. Yeah, so we're just going up that much. So Isle of Rosse is it's right by the Isle of Skye, which is fairly known for whiskey, for tourism, for a lot of things.
Yep.
Isle of Rosse is a tiny little island, size and shape of Manhattan, population 161. And so
Manhattan, I think, has a little bit more people on it.
a couple more.
Yeah, a
Yeah,
couple more.
yeah. So it is right there. It's this little sliver of an island, and it's this Isle of Rosse is the first legal distillery ever on the Isle of Rosse. So when they are getting close to 10 years old now, I think they're about 8.5-ish or so years old. So their founders basically were looking for a place that did not have a whiskey distillery. They found Isle of Rosse. It's a 161 people in this island. It's a kind of a sleepy little island. The best view of Isle of Skye that you're going to get. It's right there. It's fantastic. When you step out of the distillery, you're just looking at this at Skye, and it's gorgeous. So one of the best Instagram accounts to follow too, because it just snowed there the other day too, and it
It
looked
snowed here
gorgeous.
the other day too, by
That
the way, if you hadn't
yeah,
noticed.
was
But
great. We had hail and everything. Yeah,
that's great.
um, so when
False winter.
yeah, it's we're in it. Um, so this is one of their special releases. So this is down to we've got decent stock upstairs, but this stuff when it's gone, it's gone. This one we're doing 2 single cast series from them. So this first one is at 60 point. They put a lot of decimals in there. 60.6 ABV. So Isle of Rosse has what I love about them is that they do everything just a little different, from the stills to their maturation to their whiskey. When we visited there, they were if you've been to distilleries around Scotland, most of them are going to be Forsyths stills is kind of the industry standard.
Go to.
They had I believe it's called Frilly in Italian stills, and basically they said like, hey, we're building this distillery on Isle of Rosse. We want to order some Forsyth stills. They're like, oh, great, yeah, we'll get to you in about 7 years. I said, well, okay. So they kind of just they searched around and found this Italian company that made stills, and if that's the difference that makes their stuff a little bit different, then maybe that's part of it. They also do their maturation a little differently. These are really cool special limited single casks. So this one is the first one I'm going to have is the peated rye whiskey cask. So they don't use much bourbon there, and they don't use much sherry there. Their core range, their lineup is matured in it's basically a 6 cask system. You have your peated casks and unpeated casks. You've got rye, red wine, and chinkapin oak. So essentially, 6 casks go into the vatting of their core stuff, and then this is going to be one of those single casks, aged at 5 years and bottled at cask strength. So
Doing a
it,
type of cast this one is then?
this is a rye whiskey
Right.
from Sagamore. that right? Sagamore
Yep.
in
In
Baltimore.
Baltimore.
Yeah,
Yep.
yep. So I believe that's what they're working with. They've kind of mixed around a little bit, but I believe that's what they have right now.
You know
So,
what's something really weird is we this is going to be coming out this spring. We're actually releasing a rum from Privateer
oh yeah.
that Maggie Campbell distilled, and it we did it in a Sagamore rye barrel.
Ah, all right, great.
So it was aged 6 years in Sagamore rye barrel.
Wow.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so the whole time. So that's going to be coming out this spring,
nice,
and it
great.
does. I've already tasted it. It's got a great. That's what I was like
Yeah,
loving about this. That finish.
yeah, yeah.
You can taste it.
Absolutely, yeah. And Alistair Day, who's one of the founders and blenders, it's like, why rye over bourbon? He's like, well, I like rye more than I like bourbon, so that's what we're going to use, and we're going to be a
It does
little
have a
different.
depth, and it does have a
Yeah.
distinctual
Mhm.
flavor tone to it,
Yeah, yeah,
where you don't usually get that. And Sagamore rye barrels are actually quite good too.
yeah,
You
yeah.
know, and they're a mixture of two. They're MGP and their own.
Oh, okay.
So
Yeah,
depending on which one you got,
yeah.
either a 95, you get 95.5,
Hmm.
both,
Okay.
but they're really good.
Cool. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, probably about Alistair was here. Yeah, maybe about 8 or 9 years ago.
Ah.
Yeah, the grain of
Oh.
truth. Yeah. Yeah, I
Oh,
think he
I
was
don't know.
No,
Grain of
he was
truth.
doing that. He was doing that as basically so a lot of people when they start do like gin and vodka, he was doing some really cool blending.
Yeah, the
Yeah,
While We
while we
Wait.
wait.
Mm. Yeah,
That was really good too.
yeah, it's a
Yeah.
totally different label, totally different
Yeah.
bottling. I've seen a couple of those around.
They're really good too. If you
Mhm.
see one out there, grab it.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
is really good.
yeah.
I think
I
so. I
think
think he
so.
did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I think they're kind of just
He's
getting
busy
things going
now.
on. Yeah, yeah,
He's too busy to do that
yeah,
now.
yeah. They do have a gin as well, which is really nice. But I think they did the gin. It wasn't. It was less of a while we wait type of, just to borrow a phrase, but it was more people were coming to the restaurant there because they're the only game in town on
Right.
Raasay.
Yeah.
They're like the only bar there is the distillery, and people are like, "Do you have a gin and tonic?" And people are like, "I mean, we just make a gin here." Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
So they're
Basically. Yeah.
they're the rare young distillery where the gin came after the whiskey. So go figure. But um,
What do you guys
yeah,
think of this?
yeah,
What, a little bit oily? Yeah. A little bit heavier? Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
And that, that 60 ABV really doesn't overpower.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Kind
So
of
it's real.
water
I
and
like
thing.
this one a
So
lot.
yeah, yeah. And mentioning their distillery as well, they just won a World Whiskey Awards for I think best visitor experience or something in those range of like the best place to
On
visit.
Raasay?
Yeah, yep,
No, no.
yeah. The best one on Raasay. I actually stayed at. They do have a hotel called the Radsay House, which was
Yeah.
really nice. And
Good.
it's so they've got that, which is about a 200-yard walk to the distillery. So you got that, and they got like one little store, and then if you need to go grocery shopping or whatever, you take the ferry over. Um, but it's pretty cool because it's interesting hearing from some of the folks there. There's a guy there. I think he's one of the head of production and blenders there. A guy named Ross, who actually grew up on Raasay.
Yeah.
So he went there, like grew up there. He was in from primary school. He was with two other kids on the island, and then when he went to high school, he got on a ferry to Skye and went to the high school at Skye, and was terrified as coming in for this little farm kid coming in there. But and then he went away for college, and then he never thought he would really come back to Raasay. But then, there's this distillery opening up, and they're looking for employees, and he was kind of like, "Oh, shoot, okay, that'd be kind of cool to go back home." And now he's like back living on Rosse. He has his own house, and He's bringing some of the population back. So they have on all their bottles and stuff population 161, which is now they're like actually we're up to about like 185 or
Well, there you
190
go.
something. So
Boom,
it's
metropolis.
they're actually getting more people back there. There's been 2 births on the island for the first time in 20 years. So
There you
they're
go.
getting a little something going on Raasay.
Oh, obviously
You
they're
know,
getting something
so
going.
someone's
Two
getting
births.
something
All right.
going. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be funny if you just like you just say like, "Hey, do you remember me? It's Jimmy. You remember me?" He goes, "No," and I'll say, "We went to school together."
Yeah.
Nah, not ringing a bell.
Yeah.
There's only 2 of us in the class.
Yeah.
Like you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Ross was driving one of their defenders around, and I was riding shotgun, and there was, the 1 lane roads. And so you pull over when another car is
Yeah.
passing, and one of the trucks passed and, do the wave. And it was like, oh, that's my Uncle Mike. Yeah, he lives down there. It's like, okay, yeah. How many other, it's like, yeah, I've got,
Get a lot of Uncle Mike.
yeah, a couple Uncle Mikes. So,
couple uncles,
yeah,
anyways.
yeah. So, yeah,
All right. So what's this next one?
so this next one is another part of that what would be kind of their classic vatting. This is
Okay.
their peated chinkapin oak. So chinkapin is one of these oaks that you're seeing more and more. You're seeing it in
Yeah,
bourbon
you're
now.
seeing it a lot more now, but
I
like
know, like
they were on sort of like I wouldn't almost say almost like the forefront of it because
yeah,
these have been aged for a while.
yeah. I think Raasay will claim they're the first to use chinkapin oak, and then Billy Walker at the Glenallachie will also claim he's the first to use chinkapin oak. So
Well,
they're both Impex,
Billy
so
Walker's right. He's
yeah.
always right. So let's stop it there.
Exactly. So,
Oh, yeah,
uh,
great finish to that.
yeah.
Really neat taste.
So yeah, chinkapin is this oak from Missouri, mostly from the Ozarks. And it's sort of like one species off of kind of the American white oak, but it's kind of close to that. I had someone at a tasting really break
Look
it
at
down and talk
right.
about weather and storms and all this stuff, and I didn't quite get it all. But it does give a really unique, almost kind of like peppery and
Peppery, yeah.
this one is, I think it is right, it's sitting right around the same. This is 61.7. Yeah.
Add again, add a couple
Yeah, a
drops of
couple
water
drops.
to this one if you haven't finished it already. Or do the Randall Bird method, take a swig of water and then drink it.
Mhm.
You'll get the same effect. Just so you know, when you're pouring it in, you don't have a drop or anything like that, pour the water into the cap so you can control how much water and then put the cap in the. That way, if you go like, oops,
Yeah.
it's in the cap, not your whiskey.
Yeah.
What do you think of that one? Do you guys like that one? That can be. This can be. I think it's really good, but it's one of those type of things. It can be. It can be divisional.
Mhm.
People that like it, love it,
Yep.
and people that don't like it, don't like it.
Right. Right.
You
Yeah.
know, because there's some definite, some bigger flavors going on in there, which
Mhm.
don't always agree with everybody. I think it does, especially these sort of different flavors that got going on. I think it
Mhm.
really is pretty harmonious
Yeah. Yeah.
with this, and that little bit of pepperiness really
Mhm.
shoots up.
Yeah. And
Let me ask you a question. Well, let me ask you
yeah, here
the
we go.
first Raasay. Are we're gonna do each one? The first Raasay, the first one you tried, is it your favorite out of the two? There's only two. Number one, number two.
Oh, all right.
Ooh,
Wow.
wow. That was divisional.
Landslide.
I guess, yeah. I mean, no, that everybody likes. It's a bolder flavor.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a bolder flavor, and sometimes that's not for everybody.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah.
Obviously, this crowd is just so sophisticated. I didn't know what I was thinking about.
Yeah.
The chinkapin is, I believe, is
Yes.
virgin
Yeah,
oak
it's a
on this
virgin
one.
oak. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't think he's done anything else in that.
Mhm.
You got to remember though, too, even though it's virgin oak, we don't. You're not getting the. It's sort of misleading because when we say it's virgin oak, you're not getting the same extremes that you would, let's say, in Kentucky, from the cold to the hot. It's more of a gradual. Are they
Mhm.
dunnage warehouses like dirt? They're low,
Yep.
dirt floor.
Yep.
So it's not like that highs and lows that really seeping into the wood. You are going to get an influence, of course, but it's not gonna overpower it like that, like it would in in Kentucky. And we talk about that. Yes. That I don't know. Is it
Yeah,
toasted or charred?
I believe it's toasted and I think it's like a medium char, so not nothing too heavy as far as I recall, but it is charred. Yeah, yeah.
There's a couple things you can toast it. You can toast, or you can char, or you can toast and char.
Hmm. Yeah,
And then there's different degrees of that. So
yeah,
of both the charring and the toasting.
yeah. I
So,
did have the chance to. They had an empty one there of that had not been filled yet, and just took a whiff, and it was like, oof, it was more than I expected to get out of it. So yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah. It's an interesting wood.
Let me ask you guys a question. First time trying Kilchoman? First time trying Kilchoman?
Wow, all right,
All
great.
right. First time trying Raasay? A little
All
more.
right.
Would you like? You like Raasay? Do you like it?
Yeah.
The first time trying it. The first impressions are always
Yeah.
the hardest to overcome.
Yeah.
Or
And these are the as I was saying, yeah, these are kind of the limited special ones. They do these kind of every other year.
yeah, you got to look at what we get because
Yeah.
we get like whatever's available is
Mhm.
sort of what we get a list from. Here's what happens. Impact sends me a list. Okay. And this is might be 6 months before it comes in. It said, hey, do you want any of these? And then you have to pick and choose which one you want. Not having tried any of them, not having done anything, and I just go like, yes. And then I just take what comes, and then we move on. But what will happen with like some of the smaller producers? I mean, Kilhoman's a small producer. We just take anything, right? Um, but they have a lot of different styles and tastes and profiles. Raasay, like we're out of one type. We get another like one off in. So it's right now, it's not like a consistent like thing you're getting every time. See what I'm saying? So that they're always changing, which is why we try to do these things so that you guys can taste them, so you get an understanding of what they are. Now it's also one of those type of things that they're coming out with something. They're coming out with something a new limited edition. You can sort of get an idea of what it's going to be like, depending on what barrel it's in.
Yeah.
You're starting to build your own library in your own head of what these expressions will be.
Yeah.
Just like when Kilhoman came out, it was the same thing. It was sort of all over the board, and then you sort of build up. Okay, that's what the distillate tastes like. Here's the different woods they're putting them in. Here's what they're tasting like. You can sort of get an idea of where they're going. So when you see something, you can sort of read it and go, oh, okay, it's going to be somewhere in between that and this, and you sort of get an idea. So you get to know the brand, and you get to know more importantly, I mean, we don't talk about it a lot, but the blender.
Yeah.
And we talk about these single malts. It was like single malts. It's not single barrel. It's single malt.
Yeah.
There's blending involved, and so you get an idea of the distillate character and the blender and how they're blending things. So it's important to taste these things as you go, because you never know what's going to sort of hit you and what you're going to sort of like. And that's why we do tastings. Liquid to lips is the best way. So when you buy something, you already know the answer. You already know you like it. All right.
Yeah. And we just got some more in of their core stuff.
Yeah.
So
So we're
that'll
gonna
be,
so we're going back. We're gonna have some more.
yeah, which is kind of all six of those casts. The only other one that I don't even think we got in would be Bordeaux cast. So
Oh,
they
I
don't
think we get the Bordeaux.
do the Bordeaux.
Did
I
we
can't
have the
remember.
Bordeaux? Well, I thought we did. I
Maybe,
thought for
yeah,
some
maybe
reason
we did.
I thought we
I think
did.
that one we got less of it.
We didn't get a lot, but we got some.
yeah, peated Bordeaux. So yeah, they don't really use a lot of sherry there, but they use Bordeaux and some good I know they had some like Chateau Margaux and some really good
Really nice wine
casks.
casts, yeah.
So yeah, peated Bordeaux, unpeated Bordeaux, peated rye, unpeated rye, peated chinkapin, unpeated chinkapin. That's what goes into their core range. They also have a cast strength, which we can see and it comes and goes.
At any one time, we usually only have two.
Yeah.
So don't get too excited. Only
But
one
it-
time we only,
but that'll
it's
be-
building up.
it'll be building for
We used to
sure.
only have
Yep.
one, so there
Yep.
you go.
Yep.
And we've doubled.
Yeah.
All right. I want to thank you all for coming tonight.
Yeah.
Thanks, Brian.
Thank you, everybody.
We get a couple things to take care of here. I just want to say next week is April 15th. This is tax day, so we're going to do a potluck, and the category is American rye whiskey. Speaking of American rye whiskey,
Yeah.
and we're going to be doing that. So I want to thank everybody that's followed us on Facebook. You can get this on YouTube. You can see this up. It'll be up in a couple days. It's the Liquor Talking. Look for It's the Liquor Talking. It's all in there. We have like over 250 different videos up there. We do our Whiskey Wednesdays as well as our radio show on Saturday afternoon, 11 to 12. It was great to be here. You should have been here if you weren't, because it was awesome.